Friends, I'm so glad to see you all here again, or like, I'm excited to be on YouTube again. It's been 6 months since I filmed our last family update, but this is a huge update for our family, and a lot of reasons why we haven't been sharing on social media is because of this update right here. And the update is, drumroll, we're having a baby! And this time it's inside of me, so we're pregnant. So this is crazy because many of you guys have been following our journey for a long time, know us as the foster care and adoption couple. You know, we adopted a bunch of kids from foster care. We've had a lot of kids from foster care. We care about orphans. Like, this is kind of our ministry. This is kind of who we are. This is who God's called us to be. And when I was 24, I'm 34 now, I had a diagnosis that it would be almost impossible for me to have kids because of my stage of endometriosis that I had. I had a surgery back then when I was 24, and it showed that I had endometriosis, and I had all these pains and all these things from it, but we didn't really seem bothered by it. Like, I didn't seem bothered by it for sure, because hey, we have these beautiful boys that were living with us, now our sons that we adopted, and we were just all happy as can be as a family. So we always knew we were gonna adopt. That's always been a part of our story, a part of our plan. Both me and my husband, we've always wanted to adopt. So we have 4 children that we adopted from the foster care system throughout the 10 years here, and we've had, you know, over 20 kids come through foster care through our house, and we've parented them, we love them, and we just recently let 3 of them go back home. Didn't let them, we just, it happened, you know, like our hearts are broken, but they're back home now with their mom and they're doing great. And so this is us. So let me tell you, let's rewind here. So back in January, the whole entire house, we had 7 kids living with us. So we had our 4, and then we had our 3 foster kids all living with us, and then I was feeling sick, and we had a whole bunch of things kind of going on that week, and I didn't want to get anybody sick, so I was like, I'll just go in and get tested for strep throat, because I'm like, probably have strep throat. So I did get tested for strep throat, and then I also got tested for COVID, and I was positive for both those things. So lots of positivity there, yes. So during that time, I think that's when we conceived a child. So when we talk about COVID, conceiving a child somewhere in that time frame, that's back in January. And then early February, we were ready to take a trip to Turkey, just visit our friends there, Turkey the country. And we took a test a couple weeks before, and I found out I had 2 lines on the test. I literally started crying because it's just overwhelming. The whole infertility process is very scary, and I just was scared about losing a child. Like, and then also things with China, and I'll get into that in just a minute for you guys, because I now have answers for you. I don't think I could have done this video without answers about what's happening with our China adoption, which people that have been with us a long time, we know we're adopting from China as well. I needed to make sure that that was okay. It felt like, honestly, in that moment, I was terrified, because I was like, either I lose my child in China because we get kicked out of the program, or I lose this child through miscarriage or something because of my health issues. Yeah, so anyways, so we found out I was pregnant, which is a complete miracle. Like I was telling you, I can't have kids. That's what I was told. Chad, I got tested a little bit too, and it sounds like he had some issues too, my husband, and so we were like, okay, like, it's probably not in the cards for us. I was getting older, I'm 34, you know, it's not old, but it's getting older, and so I was like, well, that ship is sailing, and we are content and happy with our 4 and our soon-to-be 5 from China, which we haven't been able to go get them because of the pandemic, but that's a whole different story. So anyways, I took that test and I started crying. I called my husband and he prayed with me on the phone. I called my sister, she prayed with me on the phone. I called my mom and she was super excited for me, you know, like, I mean, like, everyone was pretty excited, but we were cautiously optimistic about it because it was just never happened like this before, and it could be kind of scary, you know, having a baby is scary. So, especially if it doesn't happen to you, you know? So we went to the doctor that week. I was like 5 days past my period. A little TMI for you, sorry. And they took blood and they were looking for my HCG level, and it was like 250. I might have been like 4 days past my period. I went in right away because I knew it was me, you know, like this is me. And then they said come in the next day and we'll take your blood again, and if it doubles like your HCG level, like it will be a viable pregnancy. So I went in the next day and it was like the best news ever. It did double. It was like 5 something, so it doubled, and I was like super excited. We were able to tell some super close friends and family to continue praying for us, and still terrified out of our minds, but very excited. We went on our trip to Turkey and I was feeling good, and then like about a week before our trip to Turkey I started getting super sick, like just sick as a dog. So I'm like, I know I'm pregnant now. I'm so sick, and I was puking every day, multiple times a day. It was just, women are amazing, mothers are amazing, that biological mothers, like, that carry their babies. I've been thinking a lot about this process, thinking about our kids as biological moms all the time. Thank you for carrying that child in your womb. Like, it's so much more work than most women, pregnant women, make it look. Maybe it's because I'm 34, maybe it's because I'm just so in tune with my body. I just feel like a different human. Like, everything changes. I literally look on the internet and I'm like, look at these symptoms. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. They're like, no, you're just pregnant. That's normal. So I'm like, cool. So it's kind of wild. As you can see, I'm pretty excited about it. So I was sick as a dog throughout that whole trip, but it was really fun. It was such a special time. You can go on my Instagram and look at some of those pictures from that trip. We got to see like 2,000-year-old olive trees. Turkey is such a beautiful place, and we love that country so much. It was such a great experience for us. As you know, we love cultures. We love cultures. And we got to come back from that trip and they did an ultrasound on us. Actually, the doctor, I didn't know she was going to do it. I was just at the doctor's office and she just took me into a room. She's like, we're just going to make sure that there's a baby in there. And like, my husband just was happening to be there, which is really cool. We got in there and she just did a quick little ultrasound and he was like right there. Like, he was just there, and I was just super exciting. I was like literally freaking out. Like, this is real. This is happening. Baby's coming. We're actually having a baby. And honestly, like, it probably hasn't really sunk in until I was about like 16 to 18 weeks, somewhere in there, when the morning sickness finally wore off, that it was sinking in. I was like, wow, I actually am having a baby. Like, this is actually happening. Now we're like 24 weeks pregnant. I'm looking on the internet. I'm like, if the baby's born today, he can survive, like 55% chance of survival. It's just, when you go through so many years, 11 years, guys, 11 years of infertility, women on here can relate to this, I'm sure. Your brain is just a little like, just messed up from the whole experience of infertility. And so it just, it's shocking when you find out information and you're like, this is new, this is not my MO, I'm not used to these things. Like, I'm constantly researching things now. Like, it's just out of my wheelhouse. Like, I've been a mother for 10 years, but like, here I am, like, feeling like a newbie in this area. We've never had a newborn before. We've always preferred older kids from foster care because they're harder to place. Like, this is kind of like more of our skills, like our wheelhouse, like I said. So it's just been completely wild. That's been kind of the journey. So yeah, like I was saying, I was super sick all the way through my first trimester. Actually, like 4 or 5 weeks after my first trimester, I was still sick. Probably like 16 weeks is when it finally started to like stop. I stopped puking. I still puke from time to time, but not as much, which is so great. So anyways, I wanted to come in and update you guys on that, because you guys, some of you guys have saw on Facebook that and Instagram that I posted about us having a baby, and we had questions about China. And so I wanted to clear that up a little bit. We did finally tell our agency that we are pregnant. That was a very terrifying conversation. And they said that since we have our letter of approval already, it shouldn't necessarily affect China. We are considered to be on pause, though, for sure, until the baby is like 1 year old before we can go to China to get our son. But that being said, China will likely, I hate to say it out loud, but like if I was honest with myself, China will likely not be open for a while longer. So that's a very devastating story all its own. But so if you guys can be thinking and praying for our son in China and our son in our womb, we are full. Anyways, I wanted to update on that question because so if the answer to that question, long and short, is it's on pause, but it's not canceled. We are still pursuing our son in China until they say no. And he's getting kind of big now. He's actually 8 years old now, and he's almost 9. He'll be 9 in November. So, but we're not gonna give up. So that's just kind of where we're at, and that's our story. So I hope that was fun for everybody. I don't know if you enjoy pregnancy announcements, but that was our little story of how we were pregnant. Yeah. Trying to see if I missed anything in this conversation. I think it's all. I think that's everything we need to say. But I love you guys. Thanks for sticking with us through the thick and thin. As you guys know, I'm staying home now, so I have some cool ideas for some videos, no promises, but I do have some ideas, and my husband has encouraged me to continue to put out information about foster care and adoption on YouTube because it's a fun outlet for me. So we will try to keep doing that in the future. No promises though, you know how I am. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.